Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd rank my top 10 favourite shows of all time. Now I've not seen every show, I've only seen the ones I've seen, so take it with a grain of salt. Your favourite show might not be on this list. But to be fair, my favourite shows change just about every week, so this is this week's top 10's favourite shows. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And before we do, please like and subscribe. I'm trying not to spoil anything about these shows. I want to try and keep it as brief as possible so I don't spoil any of the contents within. Right, let's get into the list. Alright, now coming in at number 10 we have AMC's The Walking Dead. As you can see, I've got a poster on the wall. I love this show in its prime. It's probably around season 1 through 5 I loved it the most. However, I think it fell off a little bit during season 6 onwards. There was nothing wrong with it, honestly. I just didn't really fancy the show anymore. It felt like a little bit repetitive, but it's always going to be one of my favourites, of course. I love the cast. The cast is great. Always some shocking moments in a zombie show, so there's that to expect. And yeah, number 10's The Walking Dead from AMC. At number 9 we have Harley Quinn from DC. I loved this show when it came out, still do. It's low on the list because a lot of the shows I've seen like after and before I believe are a little bit better, but that's just my personal opinion. It's still a lovely show. It's great. Again, with same reasons as The Walking Dead. Great cast, a lot of memorable moments, and I believe that's all I've got to say about it. So let's move on to number 8. Number 8 we have my favourite first lockdown show from the coronavirus, all that, Gravity Falls. Honestly, I didn't watch it as a kid. I was more of a Nickelodeon child when I was growing up. But I watched Gravity Falls during the first lockdown, so a couple of years back, and it's freaking brilliant, man. Dipper's great, Mabel's decent. The main villain in it, he's freaking awesome, right? I ain't going to tell you much about him, but you've probably seen him online. Bill Cipher, he's fantastic, right? But that's all I want to say. Don't want to spoil it, so I'll leave it at that. Let's go on to number 7. Right, at number 7 we have Amazon Prime's The Boys. I believe the comic isn't great, but the show is, right? Homelander, amazing. A-Train, fantastic. Even how it starts, it's basically a world where we all use heroes as marketing, and we get to see how the corrupt side of things happen with heroes. It's just a show you just don't want to miss out on. The Boys, that's what it's called. I've said it before, but I want to make sure I say it again. So let's move on to the next one, yeah? Right. At number 6, we have Cartoon Network's Infinity Train. Now, let me tell you, this thing is dark, right? Well, it's in the title. It's a train that goes on for ages, for infinity. You get people going off and on. People who come on have to deal with their emotional struggles, in a way. And as soon as they sort all that out, they can get off the train, making their arc complete. There's 4 seasons to it. It was on HBO Max, but I think they've taken it off now, so I don't know why. That's a bit tight. But Infinity Train is great. Protagonists, well, you guess this will change every season. And each protagonist is phenomenal. And that's all I'll say. Don't want to spoil anything else. And I want to keep this short and snappy for you guys, so let's move on to number 5. At number 5, we have our first anime on the list. It's Jojos Bizarre Adventure. Now, if you're a weeb, you probably know all about it. There's people explaining all the stuff going on better than me, because I'm one of keeping it brief, don't want to spoil out. The first couple of seasons are on Netflix, season 1, 2 and 3. My personal favourite, season 3 is on Netflix. That follows our protagonist Jotaro as he traverses across Europe to fight the main antagonist of the series, Dio, right? And that's all I want to say, because it's complicated, but it's fun, right? Jojo's Jojo. So let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have Better Call Saul. This recently got its finale. I was a bit late to the Better Call Saul train, because I watched Breaking Bad recently. But Better Call Saul is beautifully written. All the way throughout, you've got these motifs, you've got just little hints and all that to the ongoing story. It's a slow burner, but it builds up the narrative, and it delivers a fantastic payoff, right? And, if you've seen Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul will be even better. So I'm going to move on to number 3. See you there. At number 3 we have the other anime on the list, The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Now this is a genuinely funny comedy anime. It's about this lad who's got psychic powers, but he doesn't want to reveal to anyone that he's got these powers. But the problem is, a lot of people constantly mither him in a way. They pester him like, oh, come do this with me after school. But it'll probably ignite one of his powers, or he'll use one of his powers to get out of something that he promised to do or something. But it's definitely in the top 3 for a reason. I loved it all the way through. But yeah, that's the Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Let's move on to number 2. Now at number 2 we have Breaking Bad. Right, it's obvious it's up here. Genuinely, all the chads have seen it, and if you've not seen it, what are you doing? It's Breaking Bad. It's genuinely a marvel, the gold of television. If you don't know the story, about a man called Walter White, and he's developed lung cancer. He's got nothing to lose, so he takes up the drug business, hires one of his former students, Jesse Pinkman, and they do all sorts of wacky stuff the first couple of times, but then it gets serious. They get involved with a cartel and all that. So yeah, Breaking Bad has a lovely payoff and a great story throughout. However, I don't like Skylar. She's probably a great person, but I just don't like the character. Never attack the actor, right? Always go after the writer. Let's move on to number 1. Alright, now my number 1 favourite show of all time has to go to BoJack Horseman. Honestly, this show's storytelling excels whatever I've seen. Breaking Bad comes very close. I was torn between this or Breaking Bad or BoJack. But BoJack Horseman follows our main character, BoJack. He's a washed-up actor who's made a lot of mistakes, but he goes about trying to live his life, but they always catch up to him in some way. It all wraps up in a glorious finale, and all the other side characters are great. I was invested in every single one of them. Like, there was not a moment where I sighed when one of them came on. I was laughing throughout, I was crying throughout, I was cheering throughout. Phenomenal. I cannot recommend BoJack Horseman enough. You can get it on Netflix. And that concludes the list. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 favourite shows of all time. Now, I did this for a little bit of fun. I thought, why not, you know? It's there, we can name things we like easy. Next, I'll probably do a top 10 games of all time I've played. But that might be till a little bit later. You need to suffer through a few more Apex Legends shots first. So yeah, I've really enjoyed myself today. Like and subscribe, I said at the start of the video to do that. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice night, or day, or wherever you are.